Listen online at KFMA.com. You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. Oh my God. The voice almost out. Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA. Streaming worldwide at KFMA.com. Happy Wednesday, September 1st to you. Good morning, weirdo.
Good morning. Happy hump day.
Yeah, it's hump day. Yeah. It's been a rough week for me so far, and you might be able to tell on my voice. I mean, I'm battling that cold that's going around, not COVID. And in fact, actually, I kind of wish it was COVID just so I could take the week off to recover. But at the same time, I grind through. Even if I'm not going to say even if it was COVID, I'd still show up, but I probably would. Now, it's been rough. It's been especially rough this week for me because just a couple days ago, over the weekend, actually, my air conditioning unit went out. And it was kind of spotty. It would work a little bit, and then it wouldn't. You'd have to reset it. And then I think on Sunday, it just completely crapped out on me, and it's done.
Oh,
right?
That's awful.
Yeah. Now I had a air conditioning dude come out, emergency, check it out, let the landlord know that this thing is toast. You need to get it replaced ASAP. The soonest they could do it is Wednesday, which is today, which is fine, right? But of course, this didn't happen last week when the temperatures were in the 90s as far as the high. It happened this week when yesterday was a high of 104. It was smoking hot yesterday, right?
Ugh.
Now, look, I don't expect to get any sympathy from anyone that grew up in Arizona. I get it. And I grew up in Arizona. I've had hotter experiences, but last night was rough. And I've been trying to kick this cold's ass, right? So I'm on this regimen of NyQuil, Z-Pack, Zinc, Vicks, everything. I'm just loading everything up in my system so I can kick this cold's ass because I have things to do this week. I'm super busy. And luckily for me, my girlfriend was able to get a portable air conditioning unit from her coworker, and we were able to set this up in the room. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen one of these portable air conditioning units, weirdo.
I have one.
You have one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know that they're wonders. First off, I found out you can't rent these in town, which infuriated me because I thought, okay, I could just rent a couple of those and then that will get us through the day. And that wasn't the case at all. In fact, only if it's industrial do they rent them. And Home Depot, Lowe's, none of them have them to offer. And then there's nothing affordable as far as portable air conditioning units is concerned. Everything's $300 to $1,000.
Yep.
Unless you want a swamp cooler, which I don't want, right? Because that's just swamp ass humidity on top of the heat. Why go to Florida right now, right? In your head.
Yeah.
So I got this unit, and this unit has this exhaust tube, right? So this is how it works. You plug it in, right? And the cold air blows out the front, and then hot air blows out this exhaust tube. And then you got to put this exhaust tube to the window. So you got to crack open your window, and they have this little breaker, and then the hot air just blows out to outside, which is great. And so I go to sleep last night, and around 1 o'clock in the middle of the night, my girlfriend's whining and crying. She's like, oh, it's so hot. It's so hot. And I'm like, I'm irritated. I'm sick. I'm on NyQuil. I'm like, you just now know this? Yes, we know it's hot. Go to bed. And she's like, no, why is it so hot? Oh, I'm dying. And I'm just like, stop complaining. We know what's going on. Let me just put this blanket over the air conditioning unit. We'll blow some cold air underneath. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. And she's like, why is the air conditioning unit next to you? I'm like, because the window's next to me. Why are we having this discussion? It's 1 o'clock at night. Go to sleep. I'm mad and irritated, and I'm snapping at her unfairly because as I lay back down, I have my hand kind of above my head. I'm laying on my stomach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel this hot air just blowing upward, a blow dryer is blowing onto my hand. The heat, it was immense. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. Why is there so much hot air coming from underneath my bed? And then I look, that exhaust tube that's supposed to be pointing out the window fell out the window, went underneath my bed and was blowing directly underneath my girlfriend.
Oh, no.
So she's like 200 degrees. She's burning up and literally dying. And I felt really bad because I am right next to the air conditioning unit. And I'm like, I'm sleeping fine. I don't know what your problem is. Shut up. I'm trying to sleep. And meanwhile, like I could have accidentally killed my girlfriend last night just from her dying of dehydration in her sleep.
Oh my God.
Felt terrible. Yeah. So this is like what I'm dealing with in the middle of the night, dealing with that crap. And of course, 104 degrees. My daughter's a trooper. Luckily, she's a teenage girl, so she's cold-blooded. She was able to make it through the night. But it was the worst. And luckily, I got the exhaust tube hanging out the window. We were able to sleep for the rest of the night. And today, the air conditioning guys are going to come out and do the whole trade out. And hopefully I'll have a brand new AC on top of that house. And if that works and it happens and everything goes well like it should, I'm setting that thing to 50 degrees. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to see my breath. I want snowflakes to shoot out of my ducts. Like,
Don't even care about the ginormous electric bill. Just make me cold.
Exactly. I mean, we were saving money for a couple days.
Right.
I can make up for it and just binge cold air all day today, like just straight up naked, let the boys hang out. And I'll just I'll sit on a ladder and just be right there in front of the air conditioning unit and just let it pump cold air into me because I'm over this. Now, this is not the hottest I've slept in conditions in Arizona. Like I said, growing up in Arizona. So, I mean, I was able to make it through. But I remember one time in Tent City, right? Now, if you know about Tent City, that's a jail in Maricopa County, right? Up north. And they shut it down because it's inhumane. There was one summer where I was going to jail. I'm 18 years old, right? And I was doing weekends in Tent City. And I was at the top, sleeping on the top bunk with no circulation. I think the high of that day was like 118 degrees. At night, it was like 116 degrees, right? So I'm laying there and I'm sweating so much. I got my hand hanging over the side of the bed that I'm sweating so much that sweat is dripping off of my hand into a pool of sweat on the ground below me. And it's going bloop, bloop, bloop. And the guy underneath me had the audacity to get mad at me and say, if you don't stop dripping, I'm going to kick your ass. And I woke up from this, right? And I'm literally splashing around in my own sweat. It's so much sweat that it's accumulated. I'm in a pool of my own sweat on top of this metal bunk bed in a tent in Phoenix, Arizona. And I was like, I'm dying up here, you son of a bitch. If you want to do it, do it. Or you could just shut the F up and switch with me. And he's like, oh, no, I don't want to switch with you. And I'm like, just shut the F up because I'm going to die.
Right.
And that was it. That was the end of that conversation. He didn't kick my ass. Luckily, I didn't die. But that was my worst sleeping experience in Arizona. And then last night was my second worst sleeping experience in Arizona. So if you got any kind of magnitude of how bad that was. But the good news is, Weirdo, I'm here. I'm semi-rested. I'm semi-recovered. We have tickets for Shinedown. We have tickets for A Day to Remember. We have Morning Moron coming up after Alice in Chains. And we'll kick things off with Green Day. Here's When I Come Around on Rock 102.1 KFMA. You know the name of the show. Let's go. All right. We are here on the podcast broadcast. And it's just Weirdo and I for right now. And shout out to beef listener Jordan for reaching out to help with Manny's AC. And
yeah.
And what's up, Jorge? Good to see you. So I don't know if you just heard, but on the FM side, today's special guest on the podcast broadcast is the woman who is replacing Riley on the radio. If you didn't know, excuse me.
Oh, Lord.
I know it's that tail end of my lungs. I took 2 COVID tests to be like, do I have COVID? Because it's heavy.
Oh, it's going around our house, but COVID negative. It's just, other viruses do exist.
Isn't that crazy? It's an actual cold that isn't COVID. Anyways. So we have a replacement for Riley. Riley, her name's Mary, by the way.
Okay.
She's going back to her name, Mary, which is good. Because here's the deal. My girlfriend's name is Mary, right? And so then this is how ridiculous sometimes I don't agree with management consulting. You guys know this if you follow along to the narrative. So when Mary was given the position to do music in the mornings, they said, Mary's not a rockin' name. That's not a rockin' name for KFMA, can Mary, right? So let's name you, I don't know, Riley. That name rocks, right? So you changed your name to Riley. I have two problems with this. One, my girlfriend's name is Mary. My daughter's name is Riley. First off, management, get off my fucking dick, right? I did not appreciate that. And I'm like, do you guys, you realize that I should just be doing the morning show here since you're just naming whoever replaces me after my girlfriend or my daughter, coincidentally. Of course, I mean, that's a stretch. I get that.
Yeah.
But the thing I disagreed with it the most was you guys don't even see the big picture. I'm all about alliteration, right?
Yep.
So I was like, why didn't you just let her keep her name and say more music in the morning with Mary on KFMA? Okay, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of roll off the tongue a little smoother?
That does.
Yes, but that's my mind as opposed to the minds that I fight against on a regular basis. So it was Rock and Riley on the radio, whatever the case. And Riley, she enjoys radio, but she really has a passion for different aspects of the radio. Most importantly, she loves doing the PSA Sunday style shows, like the NPR style shows, which she does put a lot of effort into, and she has her heart into it, and she produces these wonderful, informative Sunday broadcasts with nonprofits and charities all over town. And that's a position here in the station I call the Carlos position, which is the best gig in the building, to be honest with you. I mean, you're basically working 1 day a week and you get paid. It's pretty impressive. So she had an opportunity to switch over to mix, and she didn't want that opportunity. And then she just straight up said to management, look, I don't want to go back to middays. I want to do this. And they like her so much because, she works very hard and she's a good asset, a good company person. So they're like, okay, you got it. But then there was an opening, right? And people thought Mucho maybe fill in. I was actually suggesting like Powers or, everyone here on the show to kind of voice track or just stay later on certain days. Yeah. But, and that was a possibility. But then Mac, who has a long history with a radio personality named Robin Nash, who we're going to meet in a little bit. Yeah. Saw that she had an opening, and they have a friendship going back 25 years.
Wow.
Right? And Robin's really good at rock radio. I became a fan of hers when she was on The Edge, and then I worked with her when she was on 103.9. And we'll talk about how I kind of stuck my foot in my mouth the first time I actually met Robin. But she's super cool and super good, and have her follow this show somewhat has been like a goal of mine in radio for a long time. When I would dream about having the morning show on The Edge, because that was the alternative station up in Phoenix. Yeah. I would dream about that having that show. And Robin was the midday queen. So, having Robin Nash after my morning show essentially was a goal without being a full-blown goal. And, And now
you're going to get it.
Yeah. And now I'm going to get it. I told Robin this too. And she's like, oh, isn't that funny how that works out? Fuck you. Oh, all right. And then so let's see. JJ said Mucho has been a weekday dude lately and not just Sunday. Yeah, I know. And Mucho's been doing good. Mucho's a good radio dude. So yeah, we're gonna be chatting with Robin on the air and on the podcast broadcast. This will be the first time kind of just getting to know Weirdo, our streamers, what we're doing here, and yeah. And then what are you saying, Todd? Here, I'll get you on the stream here, because Todd did work with Robin as well.
Oh, okay.
But is he defending Robin's honor? Did someone besmirch Robin's name on the podcast broadcast stream? Because that's not a good first impression, guys. Yes, we had a lot of stuff that we talked about today that's been pretty good. We had about 5 minutes of phone calls of people dropping things in the toilets.
Oh my gosh, they were awful.
Yeah, and well, it is fascinating to see how radio will continue to transform. And obviously, I'm one of those people who believe in the evolution of the game. And obviously, the way that we attack social media, do the podcast broadcast stream, and the creative things that we do with our advertisers is essentially me pushing the company towards the future to evolve. Yeah. Yes, Erwin, we definitely will miss Riley, and she is, I won't miss her. I'll still see her around the building. Yeah. But she's happy. She's definitely happy about this position. This is exactly what she wanted, and she got it. So, Todd, what were you saying? What were you defending?
No, I was just shocked to see her coming down to Tucson. She was doing great up in Phoenix.
Yes, she was. Here, let me answer the phone call real quick. Rock 1 2.1, who's this?
Hey, Beef, it's Tommy.
Tommy, what's up?
I just wanted to throw my toilet story at you real quick.
Okay, yeah, give me your
Alright.
toilet story.
All right. I went to, it was a public restroom, and I sat down and went number 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then realized there was no toilet paper.
Okay.
So I had to flush the toilet, reach down in the toilet with my hand, splash water on my ass, wipe my ass with my hand about 4 or 5 times as I flushed the toilet a couple times because I had sandals on, so I didn't have socks. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
So I had to rinse my ass off with my hand, wash my hand in the toilet, and then when I was done, I washed it for about 15 minutes in the sink.
You
Yeah.
said you had to. You didn't. Just to let you know.
I did have to. What was I gonna do?
Yeah.
Ah,
I know. I mean, walk around with dirty butt, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of
I mean,
those
there's
messy-
always the option of taking my T-shirt off and ripping it and using that, but then
What about your underwear, dude? What about your underwear? You could have used your underwear as
I
toilet
don't.
paper.
I'm free balling.
Oh yeah, so you had no
Okay.
backups. You
So I
were
was literally stuck using my hand. There was no other
safety
option.
net.
yeah.
no safety
Well,
net.
Manny thinks that you would last long in an apocalypse. I don't. I beg to differ. I think you would give yourself some kind of virus and kill yourself just from wiping your own ass. But that's
Dysentery.
yeah, that's great. Thanks for that call,
Have a
Tommy.
good day, guys.
Hey, you too,
Later.
brother. I'm glad you like that Ghost show too. I saw that.
Oh my God, it was. I am now a fan of Ghost. That was probably the best show I have ever been to.
Yeah,
And I was just at Five Finger on Friday.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a spectacular for sure. And my girlfriend said the same thing. And I had an appreciation for Ghost. I dig their songs.
Yeah.
But I wasn't necessarily a fanatic. But after that show, I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Oh, I'm
get it.
so bummed I missed
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
do. I get it now.
Yep. All right, Tommy. Thanks for the call, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, later, man.
Later,
Bye.
brother. All right, I got 7 seconds. We're gonna get on the air. Todd, you're just gonna do this segment with us.
Okay.
Let's see. We have a lot of stuff to catch on. Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. We're about 15 minutes away from meeting Riley's replacement on the radio. Who is going to be the voice that's going to carry middays on Rock 1 2.1 starting this next Tuesday after Revenge of the 90s weekend? You're going to find out on the podcast broadcast as we're going to catch up. You got a little bit of history with this radio legend, this icon. In fact, I got Todd Marley on the stream. You worked with this woman as well, right?
I did briefly. She probably doesn't even remember me because I was a weekender on
That's true.
at 103.9, and I did I got a tutorial from her. I've had direct interaction, but maybe directly interacted with her a couple times because she was way busier than poor weekender me at the time.
Yes.
So
She was a rock star. You're a nobody. I mean, let's just sum it up.
and that's okay, and that's fine. But no, she was great. She was always nice and friendly, very willing. I asked her about Vox Pro, and she gave me an hour tutorial on it. So
Oh, that's a little too much, but yeah, still appreciative. You give a little 5-minute tutorial on that, but we'll talk to the one and only Robin Nash here in a little bit. She's just getting her coffee loaded up and being ready for this, and then we'll Facebook stalk her as well, because I know she has plenty of stories. Because she's been in the game for so long in rock radio on the legendary alternative station, The Edge. So there's a lot of bands that she's got to hang out with, in festivals and behind the scenes. So I know she got accumulated some stories along the way. But before we get into all of that, I did tell you that I was going to give you some tips on how to keep your kids from ruining your sex life.
Oh,
Yes, and I think this is important for you.
I
You know?
got 5. Please help me out.
Yeah, you got a ginormous amount of people living in the house.
Yeah.
Have you found it difficult to get some of that alone time?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So lots of couples struggle with how to keep their sex lives going strong, but when you have kids, it's even more of a challenge.
Mhm.
From being exhausted and not having any time or personal space to themselves, there's a lot of things that can make it tough for parents. So even when alone time feels impossible, I think these tips can help your sex life. Here's the first tip, and I swear by this one: keep the bedroom sacred, right? So, in this situation, kids don't sleep in your bed. In fact, they shouldn't even want to come into your bedroom too much. That is your domain. Okay, you're the parents. You can go in their room all they want, but you kind of want to keep your bedroom as your private area. You kind of teach that at an early age. The more they are more prone to knock on the door and talk from the doorway and not inside the room, the better you're off and not getting caught doing the hanky panky.
I mean, that's the rule in our house. You got to knock, and you can't just knock and open the door. You have to knock and wait to hear the response, because we've had kids just And then they just run in and we're like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Trust me, your older kids know this by learning the hard way. All right. Here's another tip. Get a new mattress topper and some WD-40. Okay. So
Whoa!
I'll explain.
Okay, hold on.
This is to keep the kids from hearing you during your sexy time.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought WD-40 came out with its own line of lube. All
no,
right.
no, and do not use that as a lube. All
Yeah,
right?
no.
I'm letting you know right now. But you also want to try to move the bed away from the wall so it doesn't bang when you bang.
Mhm.
Right. And then use WD-40 to quiet the creaking if you have a metal bed frame, and try a new mattress topper to reduce some of the impact that causes the bed to squeak. So you have to invest.
Memory foam. Memory foam.
That's true. Yeah. And the memory foam remembers every time you bang.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'll give you one more, and then we'll carry the conversation into the broadcast. Schedule intimacy time. So, people feel so strongly that sex should be treated as a priority because it helps connect them in a way that nothing else can. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you schedule it sometimes if you can't be spontaneous and be like, look, here's the deal. It's hump day at 7:20 tonight. I know the kid's going to be busy with a tutor for 30 minutes. I'm going to bang the hell out of you for 5 of that 30 minutes. And then I'm going to ask you to make a sandwich. That's scheduled. Put it in. So scheduling intimacy time can definitely help new parents continue to be intimate with each other when they find that they don't really have that much time left to themselves anymore. So
And
schedule
it takes the pressure off. Some people think it's like, oh, it's like too scheduled, too clinical. It's like, no, you actually kind of have something to look forward to, and
Yeah.
it takes the pressure off of like, okay, this is what we're doing.
That's right. You get sexed all the way into your appointment.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Correct.
All right, we're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcasting. Get ready for Miss Robin Nash to join us there as well. And we have more Beef Vegan Presents coming up after these words on Rock 102.1 KFMA. If you were to give a tip, because you both have small children or had small children, what would be your tip on how to keep your kids from ruining your sex life?
Movies, video games.
Mhm.
You give them
Yeah.
something to do.
Give them the
No.
iPad.
Know what your kids will be enthralled with.
Yes.
You
Right.
can't just give them an iPad because they might not know. You have to know once you turn on X thing, they're good for 30 minutes, or in beef case, you only need the
Inches.
Like-
Yeah, I mean, in specific video games too, because like there's been times my kids will play video games or a movie or watch something and they're just like they don't care after 5 minutes and it's just banging on the door like I'm
Right.
hungry, I'm this. It's like, oh wait, don't need you right
Here's
now.
a couple other things. Have more quickies, right?
Mhm.
So don't try to go so long, and invest in a babysitter. So turn
Yep.
some of those dates into sex dates. So when you have a sitter, you can get a hotel room for the night, and there are hotel rooms that will charge by the hour. yeah. I
Well,
mean-
and locally, I mean, we've utilized this in our poly relationship because there's so many relationships happening at once.
Mhm.
Staycations in Tucson, a lot of the hotels around town, they give a discount if you live here. So utilizing that, I mean, we have a weekend coming up that one couple is going to go away while the other couple's with the kids, and then we're going to like switch, and it'll be a whole thing. So
Nice.
yeah, and we've planned that, and we're all really looking forward to it.
Nice. All right, let's go to the phones real quick. Rock 102.1. Who's this? Yo.
Hey, Beef, I got a tip for this. I was thinking, I don't recommend using WD-40 on the bed frame because it's like a water dissolvent, and it also, if your bed frame is like greased with like a metal grease, it'll dissolve it. So I would get like a kind of like a garage door lubricant or something of that nature.
Ooh,
All right.
I love that. That's an excellent tip, dude.
Coming in
Yeah.
with the expert advice.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Have you done something like this in the past?
I've done a lot of metal fabricating and stuff like that, so I just know that WD-40 dissolves like the grease. A lot of companies will put on metal.
Dude, I love it.
All right.
real life
well,
skills.
Hell yeah. That's a
Woo!
man's man. I thank you for the call, brother. I'm going to play that back on the air here in just a second, okay?
That was good.
All right, appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Later. All right, so let me get this ready. I'm going to play back this. Plus, I got to do a spot. But earlier this morning, we hit the breaking news. Leonardo DiCaprio is single again? It's very odd because he has a kill date that he has to be single from whoever he's dating at the time. We break down the graph earlier. In case you missed it, one little something like this. 101 KFMA, of course, the Offspring. We got to get away here on Beef Vegan Presents. Thank you for listening to the show. Breaking news from yesterday. Looks like Leonardo DiCaprio broke up with his girlfriend. His girlfriend's name was Camilla Moroni. They broke up after 4 years, right?
Okay.
The last time they were photographed together was around 4th of July weekend, which coincidentally was only a couple weeks past her 25th birthday.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. So the reason why I bring that up is because he continues to be a living meme. You know, a few years ago, this went viral. There's a chart that I'm going to show here on the screen here, Weirdo. And it charts Leonardo DiCaprio's age as he gets older and his girlfriend staying the same age. It started off with Giselle, who is Tom Brady's wife. He started dating her when he was 24 years old and she was 18.
Okay.
And then she turned 23. He dumped her, right? Then he moved on to his next girlfriend, Bar Raphael, who was a beautiful model as well. He was 30 years old when he started dating her at 20. And then she turned 25. He dumped her.
Yeah, there's a pattern.
Right. Well, we're not even at that pattern yet. So then Blake Lively was under the age of 25, dated her for a little bit. Then she married Ryan Reynolds. Erin Heatherton, he dated her for like a year when she was 22. Then this chick named Tony, he dated her for 2 years when she was 20 and 21 when he was 38, 39. And then he dated this chick Kelly when she was 25, broke up with her before she turned 26. And then this girl Nina, when she was 24, 25, broke up with her. And then this last one, Camilla Moroni, he started dating her when she was 20 years old and he was 43 and broke up with her now that she's 25. The joke is Leonardo DiCaprio refuses to date a woman over the age of 25. So I want to ask you guys listening, is this creepy or iconic? 600 KFMA, 600-5362. He gets older, they stay the same age. That's a Matthew McConaughey line from Dazed and Confused. And this guy is living the life or, living that motto anyways, right? So there are women like theories online that really paint Leonardo DiCaprio out to be kind of a creep. Because, it's cool when you're in your 20s, maybe even 30s. But once you start creeping up towards 50 and you start dating and you're still dating 18, 19-year-olds, that's a little weird, bro.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Right. And there are women online who have that theory that the brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25 years old. So as soon as their frontal cortex is fully developed, he's like, all right, I'm out. Yeah. As soon as, they realize that his jokes aren't that funny, or I don't know. I don't get it. Leonardo DiCaprio seems like a cool guy. He seems like an intelligent guy. He comes off that way, well-spoken in interviews, obviously. Very talented actor. One of the best of his generation. But for whatever reason, this guy gets grossed out banging a 26-year-old or older. Now, when everyone else is going towards that MILF trend, Leonardo DiCaprio stays the same. Even though it's not necessarily popular to be banging 22-year-olds, he sticks with it. And for that, I salute him, because at least he's standing by his, his beliefs. And his beliefs is if they could barely just legally allowed to drink, that's good enough. But as soon as they are able to legally rent a car, he's out. Right?
Yeah. So you're saying iconic.
I'm leaning towards iconic. But okay, that doesn't surprise anybody. Right. And it's creepy. Would I date a 20-year-old? No. The closer they are to my daughter's style. Let's see, I have a daughter. Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't have a kid that I know of.
Yeah.
So, and it's pretty hard to have kids when you're dating them.
Yeah. that was my rule. I don't date anybody under the age of 25 because that's just too much. And I broke that rule and dated a 23-year-old and they were speaking like my 18-year-old. I was like, I got to go.
Yeah.
I'm out. Nope.
That's true. No, I did date someone who was, I think, this was a couple years ago, and she was like 22, 23. So under the age of 25. And I took her and my daughter to Dave & Buster's. and my daughter said a reference about some kind of YouTuber, and I'm just like, who's that? And the girl I was dating is like, you don't know who that is? She's huge. I'm like, oh my God.
No.
Yeah, this is bad. It still didn't stop me from dating her, though. You know,
Yeah.
she figured it out
I
on her
have
own.
standards. You don't.
Yeah,
Fine.
well, I mean, she had a nice butt. So, in all fairness, all right. So that's our running question today. Is Leonardo DiCaprio at this age, the age I think 46 years old, 47 years old, is he creepy or iconic? Sound off. Let me know. What would you guys say to that?
Creepy as hell.
Creepy as hell.
Creepy as hell. Like there's that age limit of just like exactly what Weirdo was saying. Like as soon as it starts sounding like your kid, if you're attracted to something like that, you have your own issues.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Manny agrees with you as well. I mean, it is odd.
Well, and the fact that it's not like he's peppered in an older woman randomly, then it's like, okay, maybe it's not a pattern. Maybe it's just the people he's meeting. No. It's literally like 25, 26, you're out.
Yeah, he might have banged an older woman, a woman that we just don't know about, but he just doesn't date them. But that's odder, right? So if you're gonna hook up with them, then you might as well date them. I don't know. Do you think it's some kind of Illuminati thing? Right?
Oh, yeah.
So like this is how he stays eternally young. He
Maybe.
feasts off the young DNA or whatnot of having a young
Okay,
woman.
that just makes so
I don't
creepy.
know. Yeah, I know. It's supposed to be creepy.
Yeah, but that wouldn't explain Paul Rudd then.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true. That's true. And Leonardo DiCaprio is aging. He's actually turning into Jack Nicholson, who basically did the same thing. Jack Nicholson did bang around different age groups, but he was a perpetual bachelor as well.
Yeah.
And I think Leo has been emulating Jack Nicholson and in more than just his career, but is also his personal life.
Yeah.
He's a smoker too. You know, he's got the dad bod and he's just like, whatever. I'm Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm letting myself go. I'm still got super hot 22-year-old girlfriends. I'm still on yachts, still preaching about the environment, but being hypocritical about it.
Yeah.
And then once my girlfriend turns 25, I'm fucking out the door, son. It's crazy. And do you think, I only got 8 seconds, but do you think people will start turning on Leo if he continues this behavior?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Yep, and no. All right, that's it. All right, we're moments away from meeting our new midday personality, Miss Robin Nash, who's a legend in the radio game, joining KFMA next Tuesday. We're going to be talking with Robin on the podcast broadcast and here after Kaleo. So you can join us on youtube.com/beefvegan or keep it right here, Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, that was a live tease, and I'm just waiting for that. Here, I'm going to put you backstage so you don't creep out Robin. She might have popped in and been like, I'm out of here. That's Todd. That's the guy Todd on the Vox Pro.
You know what? If she remembers me, that's something.
That's true.
Doubt
That's
it.
true.
Highly doubt it.
No, you're a lot hairier now than you were back then.
True.
Mm-hmm. And then we are going to be, Facebook stalking too. Andrew said, Todd, I just put 16 hours into the Spider-Man game. Are you still playing that game, Todd?
I'm on my new game plus, but it's the casual game now. Like I got other things on the burner. I'm working on Cult of the Lamb right now.
Okay.
Cult of the Lamb?
Cult of the
That
Lamb.
sounds like something I play.
Yeah.
It's
all
a
right.
And I don't
little
play video
roguelike. I
games.
won't get into it right now, but it's a cute game.
Okay.
All right.
We'll figure it out here in a second. I'm going to put you
I'm being
backstage.
kicked
I'll pop you
out,
back
so
up.
I tell you about it, but I have to.
I'll put him backstage. All right. We should be having Robin pop in here any minute now. And we'll be talking with her on the air and then pulling up and Facebook stalking her. As I do. I do enjoy the Facebook stalking. There's a couple things that I want to ask questions about just of her legendary career. And she has a lot of stories, good times, parties. And of course, we met and I inadvertently put my foot in my mouth when I met her. And I don't know if she'll recall that. It's just some of the pictures that Robin has. And I hope she doesn't mind me stalking on her Facebook page. She'll probably block me after this. Yeah. Joe says that Todd smokes like a movie villain. Would you agree with that, Todd?
I mean, I am also stroking my naked cat down just below the camera, so sure.
That's what you call your dick. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
All right. All right, put it back there. All right, so let's see. Robin should be popping up. Come on, Robin. No, you gotta get on. I know it's Rock 102.1. We're a little laxed about being on time. But I run a different shit. Okay, so she just got the email. I believe so. All right, cool. So she should be popping on any second now. As we get to know Miss Robin Nash here, I'm gonna pull up. She doesn't have any pictures of me
Why would she?
I know. Here's an old school picture. Now, the other day I mentioned Steve Tingle. This is Steve Tingle right here.
Okay.
He's amazing as far as radio.
Okay.
He does fantastic voices. He's based out of Chicago. I've been following his career forever.
Really?
But when my uncle Nevik died, I called into the Edge, and he, this is before I knew how radio worked. And Tingle played me an Everlast song in honor of that. And of course, that's the power of radio, right? I just kind of remember that, and I was all stoked about it. And, again, this is before I knew how radio worked. And he already had that song queued up, and it's just how it is. He didn't pick it for me. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podcast broadcast stream from an undisclosed location. We got Miss Robin Nash. Good morning. Can you hear me?
An undisclosed location. Hang on. So I
Yes.
have things set up in so many different ways, and I had my headphones plugged in so I can hear you.
Good.
Can you
I'm
hear
glad.
me?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
sound fantastic. In fact, actually, this is the podcast broadcast stream. We're going to be on the air here in about 8 seconds. So,
Oh, so you're
we're
going to
just
cut me off?
No, we're going to
No.
have you on the air.
Oh, you're actually live on the radio.
Yeah, we're doing both.
Okay.
So
hang
Rock
on,
1
Beef.
2.1
Let me,
KFMA. Welcome
let me
back to the
shut my
podcast.
headphones off.
No, don't shut your headphones off. You got to be able to hear me. So for the past 2 hours after I reconfirmed with Robin, because I like to do things last minute.
I do too.
We've been telling you we're going to introduce you to the new midday personality joining the Rock 1 2.1 family, a legend in the radio game who I've known from the Phoenix area, from stations like The Edge and My 103.9. Please welcome Miss Robin Nash. Good morning,
Aw.
Robin.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Beef. I love you. I haven't seen you in a little while, so it's nice to see you again.
No, I know. Do you remember the first time we met, by the way? Because I feel like I made such a terrible impression, first impression.
Was I
that-
mean to you? Because usually people say I'm not very nice at first impressions.
No, I remember. So Mark Young, it was after you were kind enough to
Here we go.
bite your tongue.
Okay.
Here,
what did you
I'll
do?
refresh your memory. Okay, because you look, I've been a fan of yours forever. And so getting into, I got hired part-time on My 103.9 while I was still doing my show on KWSS. And so I went there for my first little meeting with Mark Young, who used to be Young Mark here on KFMA. And so I meet him in the lobby, and you're coming out right after a morning meeting, right?
Okay.
And I was like, Mark's like, hey, have you met Robin Nash? And I'm like, oh, Robin, I'm a big fan. It's nice to meet you. But it was a morning meeting, and it's radio. It was before I knew like how people dress for radio and stuff. And you were still kind of like in your pajamas. And I was like, oh, so would you just like,
Wasn't I wearing probably rock t-shirt, jeans, and
yes,
Converse
yeah, it
or
was
something?
right. And I was like, oh, did you just like wake up and roll out of bed? And you went like this. I swear to God, you went, nah, and just walked out.
Okay, so that's me kind of not being nice.
Well, that was you not leaning into it and be like, how dare you son of a bitch. So that was kind that you bit your tongue, and I do appreciate that.
That's awesome that's your first memory. I don't remember that at all.
Oh, that's good. Well, I'm sorry that
But
I
I will-
reminded you.
Yeah, I mean, my wardrobe definitely has gone downhill because of working in radio all these years.
That's true. Yeah, and you've been in the game a long time. So you, of course, when you started on the Edge, that was late '90s. Was that pre-Howard Stern era?
No,
And
actually, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go for it. I'm Facebook stalking you right now, so I'm gonna pull up pictures while we talk.
Oh no! Oh God! I don't even know.
This photo is so deliciously
Thank
90s,
you.
and I love
is.
it.
It's my
We should recreate
favorite.
that. That's fantastic.
Look at my outfit. Look at oh God, those were the days. Those were the days. Those are my favorite people in radio, but right there.
Yeah, you got Pistol Pete in there, who's a legend as well. Rest in peace, Pistol Pete. One of my favorite people to work with.
Me too.
Steve Tingle, talk about this. Smiling Marty, who's the morning show host of 91X. Craven Moorhead. You can tell I geek out on radio a little bit. I know all these guys. So what do you remember from this photo here, Robin?
You do remember everybody. That's amazing. That was the heyday of the late 90s right there. And I remember our amazing program director, Shelley Hart at the time, said, hey, let's do a glam photo shoot exactly for that reason, because everyone's always walking around in t-shirts and jeans all day long. So let's glam it up and let's show everybody what we can really look like. And there you go. That's the result of the photo shoot. I'm not really sure why Tingle's wearing a cowboy hat.
Why not?
He's not a cowboy by any means, but that was our look. It was so fantastic.
I love it. And so we're going to do this, Robin, because Robin's going to be taking over middays starting on Tuesday. And what's great about Robin Nash, not only is she a consummate professional, sounds fantastic on the radio, but she has a lot of relationships with these bands. She's met a lot of these bands and accumulated a lot of stories along the way that she'll be able to share with you on the air. I know you guys are going to be in for a treat. We're going to go down memory lane by Facebook stalking her on the podcast broadcast. You can join us on youtube.com/bevegan or our social medias, or keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Clear. All right, so now we're off the air.
Oh, that was all on the air?
That was all on the air.
So
Oh, sorry, I'm not even listening. I mean, obviously, so now we're not on the air at all.
Yeah, so this is what I call the podcast broadcast, right? So
I'm sorry, I didn't meet the wonderful girl there.
This is Weirdo.
Hi.
Weirdo meet Robin. Robin meet Weirdo.
Yeah, and like Beef's been telling me about you and like about meeting all the bands and interviewing and all that. Like that's kind of like what I'm hoping to be able to like do. Like, because I grew up listening to Rock 102.1 and now I'm on it and I'm like, yay!
So are you officially are you on the morning show with Beef all the time?
Once or twice a week, yeah.
Yeah, I have. So
do you go by Weirdo? I mean, what's your name?
I do go by Weirdo. Yes. I also do roller derby, so that's also my skate name. That's
one of my best
persona.
Amazing. One of my best friends did roller derby. I used to go to her competitions all the time.
Oh, love
it. They're always
in
fun.
Phoenix. But it's funny because, really quick, Brad, because what happened was I got on I didn't realize I had my headphones all plugged in to, do voice work and stuff.
Right.
And that's why I was all weirded out when I first got on, because I heard my headphones were on the wall. And so I heard you and I was like, oh shit, let me take my headphones off and turn on the mic speaker. But then I realized you guys were wearing your headphones too. So I was like, fuck it.
Yeah. No, and it's good. And you can hear it. And it's great too, because whenever you pop in on the podcast broadcast like this, it sounds good. I mean, I even have, I'll introduce you real quick to Todd Marley. He's in his location here. He's another person on the show. This is Todd.
Hi, Todd.
House DM here.
Todd actually, you actually met Todd before. He was a weekender on X1039.
X1039.
Yeah.
Back wait, X1039?
Yeah.
So you were with me also.
Right. Yeah. But we only actually interacted twice. I came in once during your show and you took the time to teach me Vox Pro, opposed to what you say to everybody else. Like, I've only had positive interactions with you where you were just like, oh yeah, sure. Here, let me show you how to do this thing.
So I am a nice person. The problem is I'm from New York and everyone thinks I'm just an asshole just from knowing that, so it's just, I give off this vibe of get to the point,
Yes.
And then people are like, wow, she's a bitch. I'm like, I'm not, I'm so sweet.
No, you did. You got to the point. I asked you a question.
Actually, Todd, I'm looking at your face. I totally remember you. I know exactly who you are. Yep.
He's a little hairier now. But I'm going to put him backstage. All right. That was Todd.
Did I say I was mean on the radio? I didn't realize that was all on the air. Oh my God.
No, stop. It's fine. First off, we're a rock station and that's good. Have a little attitude and stuff. And, they're going to love it.
I'm really glad you talked about that's so nice of you to go backwards in the, Edge days and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're not done Facebook stalking you either. And it's good too, because tons of festivals as we're fingers crossed. We'll get another KFMA day and things like that. So we'll add some more stories there.
For sure.
You've been able to discuss and have conversations with many musicians. Here's just a radio pick back in the day.
Oh, look at those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a friend of mine from Australia. Okay.
Oh, this guy right here? Is he a radio person?
He's not. He wanted to be one. So I let him in the studio.
Nice.
Those Australians, they have those sexy voices, those accents.
That's true. And Australia does some good radio too, and that's what we have here on our show. So Weirdo, and then you'll see, I have a bunch of friends that kind of pop on and different personalities like the Clubhouse and stuff. So
that's great.
And that's essentially the idea of this show. It's Beef Vegan presents Weirdo, presents Todd, presents Shinedown, presents whatever. And so
I've seen some of those.
Well, the little presents clips or the bands?
The bands.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, Brad, I stalk you too. Oh, wait, we're not live, are we?
No, we're on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is still recording. I'm sorry, I'm calling you by your names and everything.
That's fine.
I'm going to stop that right now. I'm cursing. I'm throwing F-bombs out.
Oh, no,
it's terrible.
You can cuss on this side of it. He'll let us know we're going to the FM. You'll be fine.
Oh,
I get in trouble because I call Powers by his first name, who he also shares with another name in the stage. It's like, oh, crap. It's hard sometimes to remember that.
let's see.
I honestly forget you're recording. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Oh, we're not even recording. We're just live streaming. So
Yeah.
this is on our
so anyone-
YouTube. Yes, we're all watching it.
I'll
We
hold
got
back
comments too.
my bad dirty mouth.
Yeah, so everyone on the stream, make sure you say hi to Robin. We'll pop that up. So we have our streamers that watch every day, and then they watch it on demand. And the reason why we do the podcast broadcast essentially is like years ago when I came down here, I noticed that all my like 20-year-old listeners would call in and be like, "Oh, love your podcast, man," and they're essentially talking about the morning show, right?
Mm.
The gimmick is this is a podcast that's on the radio.
Right. Got it.
Yeah,
That's
to try
cool.
to bring people back. Is this a weenie roast that you guys did on the edge?
Yeah, not a weenie roast like the K-Rock one in LA. This was just our own version of a weenie roast in Phoenix.
Okay.
Look at all those boys. Oh my God, I love them. There's Tingle, there's Jeff Dill, Trent, Craven Moorhead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're always kind of like the girl in the boys club, huh? When it comes to the rock radio days.
Yes, definitely. That's at an awesome place in Scottsdale called the Coach House. Have you ever been?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw this too. You posted the announcement, and that's why I hit you up today as opposed to next week, being like, okay, well, it was posted on All Access, which is industry trade, that you're coming to the station. Now, I know in radio, like this station that I'm on right now, I was fired from like 2017.
Yep.
And then they rehired me on KLPX, and then and then I'm back here. So I've already been fired on the station once. But so in radio, you get fired, and it kind of makes it. But then you make the announcements that you got a new job, and then the person that fires you hearts the announcement. Does that piss you off? Because that would piss me off. I'm like, why are you fucking hearting that?
So I'm not going to disclose my thoughts on that.
Okay, good. All right, well, just know that's where I'm at. I will say this though, this is great. As far as the East Coast thing, all my life, kind of growing up, I was working events and all these odd jobs. I'd always have people say, "Hey, you from like New Jersey? You from back east?" And I never had an accent, so I was just like, I didn't understand it. I'm like, why did people? And I am from New Jersey. I'm like, how did they know this? And then I realized it wasn't the accent; it was the attitude.
Right. That's why. So I like you.
Yes, exactly. Oh, we could talk so much shit together. It's gonna be so fun.
You know what? I'm a West Coast girl for so many years now. It's just there's a mix. There's a hybrid between the East Coast, West Coast. So, I'm the nice, chill West Coast girl, but I've got that East Coast attitude. So I think it confuses people.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm a lover.
Hybrid.
I swear.
And a fighter if you piss her off. Who's been your favorite band to interact with behind the scenes?
Oh my gosh. So everyone asked me that question, and 100%, like hands down, best guy I ever interviewed in my entire career is Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
And the reason is because we were backstage and he looks at all the security and everyone's hovering. And he looks at everyone. He's like, "Do you think she's going to attack me?" So he kicks all the security out of this room. And now it's just him and I. And there was one chair and a cooler. And he walks over. And I was so nervous. I mean, it was Dave Grohl.
Right.
And he looks at the cooler and he walks over to it. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And he opens it up. He grabs 2 beers. And he hands me a beer. And he says, "All right, sit on the cooler. I'm going to sit on the chair. Now, drink the beer." And I'm like, the whole thing? Yep, the whole thing. So we slam it. And he's like, "Okay, are we relaxed? Now we can start the interview." And it was just the greatest guy. So nice. Everything you think about him is true. He's the nicest guy in rock and roll.
I'll say this too. The Dave Grohl theory I have too is because he has that legend of being the nicest guy and just like super cool. Well, obviously there's like pushback on Nickelback, right? This is my Nickelback.
I love Nickelback. I don't know why people don't like Nickelback.
I'll tell you why. And I'll say this, and I make this comparison, and we've been doing the Lord's work and trying to bring Nickelback back.
Please do. I love them.
Oh yeah,
people give me crap all the time for saying that.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're coming back, and I hear the next single is going to blow people's minds. But I'll say this. Okay, so the reason why people turned on Nickelback as opposed to Foo Fighters, they essentially put out the same music, which is arena rock, right? Stadium rock, if you will, right? So they're very similar in songwriting styles and with the music. The reason why people love Dave Grohl and they shit on Nickelback is because Dave Grohl has a reputation of being the coolest dude on the planet.
Right.
Chad Kroeger, on the other hand, what was his reputation for years?
Drugs, alcohol,
douchebaggery, Avril Lavigne, shit like that. And I really think it came down to gossip and grew out of control, and then people just turned on it. So it wasn't the bear on music. I mean, them getting overplayed definitely didn't help them.
Yeah.
But they could be overplayed. Foo Fighters gets overplayed, but nobody's going to talk shit about Dave Grohl because Dave Grohl is the nicest guy on the planet.
He really is. But I'm telling you, every time I hear like Photograph or Someday from Nickelback, I just pause. I'm like, oh my gosh, what an amazing song. If you really listen to his lyrics, look, Figured It Out is a dirty ass song from Nickelback.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. You put that one on, I'm like, I feel like a raunchy girl because I love that song so much.
Yeah.
But it's so rock and it's just so great. And let me tell you something. I went to the Nickelback show in Phoenix. It was sold out. Every time I go, it's sold out. So people say they don't like Nickelback. They like Nickelback.
They do like Nickelback. I know.
You know what I mean?
And we've been doing things. We started with the kind of troll list, and now it's just kind of turned into this campaign to kind of bring the swagger Nickelback back. And I honestly, if it's not going to happen, but I wouldn't even mind having Nickelback be on KFMA Day. Because it's like,
please do
that shit back. I know. And it's about time, it's been long enough that we've been hating on the band and we need to celebrate.
I don't hate. People make fun of me. Seriously, Beef. Let's do this. Let's bring Nickelback for KFMA Day. Oh my God.
We found you an ally, Beef.
Yes.
A Nickelback ally.
And there's going to be people that push back on us, but they'll get it eventually. And then, like
Trust
I said, I don't know when we're going to get that new single, but I heard from Mac and Ray, this was a cool little heads up, is that the label rep said, hey, we got a song for you to check out. Didn't tell them who it was. Right. And they listened to it and they're like, oh, it's fucking amazing. And they're like, it's Nickelback and you can't play it. Like, but see, they knew if they would have said, hey, I got the latest Nickelback for you, it's already going to be preconceived and have a stigma attached to it. So I thought that was smart from the label. We'll see what happens.
Are you guys playing Nickelback? Is there any Nickelback?
Yeah. In fact, actually, when you do the Y2K FMA lunch and everything, you'll see Nickelback pop up. And every now and then we have a Nickelback pop up. I'm not allowed to manipulate the playlist too much, but I do. And I'll throw in some stuff when I feel the need to throw in some Photograph and just fuck with people.
I know I listen, and I obviously I'm not on until next week, so I'm not sure if we're on Nickelback, obviously, but
yeah, no, there's still gold in there. Let's see, we're gonna get back on the air here right now in 3 seconds, so let's do that. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. We're on the podcast broadcast with Miss Robin Nash, who's going to be taking over middays starting on Tuesday after Y2K 90s. No, what is it?
Isn't it Revenge of the 90s?
Yeah, it's Revenge of the 90s.
Look at you.
Yes.
Wait, you didn't even start yet, and you're already on top of the game.
Because I love that music, so I know it's up.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to? Because now this is your return to rock radio, which is a big deal. Because I know the last few years you were doing kind of hot AC.
Yes.
What are you looking forward to bringing to the airwaves of Rock 102.1?
Just all of the rock in my life coming back is so exciting to me. So every band you're playing, I have so many stories. I've met them all. It's just the pure joy and excitement of being on rock radio.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And you have met, we just heard an awesome Dave Grohl story, of course. Who would you say is your favorite rock band right now?
Oh, my
I know
favorite
that you,
rock band.
Yeah, I know that you're kind of like, establishing and you love all these bands and have actually personal interactions with so many great icons. But there's new music and bands making waves, currently on rock radio. Who's your favorite right now?
Well, that's such a hard question.
I know.
People ask me that all the time. Who's your favorite? And I actually don't have a favorite. You and I were just talking about Nickelback, and I can honestly say there's going to be haters right now before I even start that I love Nickelback. And let me make that announcement loud and proud.
Yeah, we're bringing them back.
Nickelback fan. Get Figured It Out on the radio, and you'll see.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to listen middays when I leave and be able to hear all your cool stories and quips about it, because that's so cool, and especially women in rock radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of rare, not as many. We're growing, but to be able to hear those stories of you doing this for 25 years is just amazing.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Rito. I will say I do have a great Jared Leto's story where he hates me, and I'm pretty sure he has a restraining order against me.
The
So
picture
That's
I
real
saw.
thing.
Not the biggest loss on the planet.
Hold
but
on.
I got to hear this story.
I'm Facebook stalking. The picture I saw, it looked like you were going to make out with him.
Exactly. I was hoping for that. Did
I'm
not
sure you were.
happen. And that's probably a part of why he has a restraining order against me.
Did he block you? He block you on all the
I was a
medias?
stalker. Oh my goodness. He played at our Edge show many years ago. It was probably about 11 years ago for Edge Fest in Phoenix. And yeah, you can say it started as a let me interview 30 Seconds to Mars and turned into how do I get to make out with this guy? And finally, and then, the interview went great. But then when they
Yes.
were performing on stage, I stood there, on stage staring at him as if he was going to turn around out of a chick flick movie and bring me on stage in front of 10,000 people and start kissing me or making out. And obviously that did not happen. And
I got it right here.
Oh,
So
here we go.
Look at Robin creeping on Jared Leto on the broadcast box.
I know.
But in this
he's
picture,
got his arm around you,
Yes.
like he was into
Yeah.
it.
thank
I
you,
hear-
weirdo. He was a big tease is what he was.
Yeah.
we're gonna yes, and I can see why. Because he's playing the game, and it's good. We're gonna continue the conversation on the podcast broadcast. We'll wrap things up with your beef tip after these words. Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so we're clear. So yeah, in this situation, this literally says I'm having a moment, right?
It was
And,
a moment.
And I'm surprised that you didn't kiss right there. He's got his arm around you and he's grabbing your wrist
Right.
at the same time.
Right. And he got so close. I mean, that lip to lip with maybe a half inch of space. He got
Just
so
all the
close,
breath.
stared into my eyes, got those gorgeous blue eyes, and then he just pulled back. And I
Did,
was like
Oh,
melting like
jeez.
what did his breath smell like?
I don't think I
Cinnamon
even
and- Oh, you
didn't
don't
even
know?
care, didn't notice. I was so sweaty and just so in the moment. I was almost hyperventilating because I had this crush on him. So
Yeah.
to interview him was a dream come true at the time. And it's funny because he's obviously gone on to win Oscars and been in all these movies. I think right after that, the Dallas Buyers Club came out. So
Okay.
Yeah, that was
and he just
2012.
became this A-list actor all of a sudden. And so he doesn't think about me.
Oh.
That you know of.
I'm sure he does. Well, if I look through different rock radio stations, like social media, I'm sure there might be a picture of Leto creeping on all the females, just knowing how to get those spins. He's like, "Oh, you music director too? Here, let me just buddy up right here."
Well, he's got that cult that he's building, so
He
he's
does.
got to work the magic.
Yeah.
He came back to Phoenix since that show and 30 Seconds to Mars. It was something for the Super Bowl. And he actually called Mark Young and said, or not him, but his manager.
Uh-huh.
This was years late, maybe 3 years after that picture. And they said, Jared Leto wants to come to the station, to promote the show,
Yeah.
but Robin Nash cannot be in the building.
No. No, don't tell me.
I
Is that
swear to
real?
you.
That
You
is
can
a
call
badge
Mark
of
and ask him.
honor.
Mark
So
called me and said, you have to leave the station. Jared won't come in if you're there.
You left that much of an impression with him that he actually recalled you being that much of a creep where you couldn't be in the same building, which is a big ass building. There was, wow.
Can you
So
believe
he
that? I
does
was
think about
devastated.
you.
So there you
does
go.
think
Maybe
about
he
you.
did think about me, just not the way I want. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at the time. Larry's actually coming over any second, so I'm going to have to wrap it up.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. Well, I mean, I was going to wrap it up at 10 anyways, but I'll let you go right now. I'll let you get your training. Welcome to the family. I'm sure we'll have you on the podcast broadcast again if you're up for it.
Of
And
course,
it was
Beef. I
a
love
pleasure
it.
catching up. Yeah.
And nice to meet you, Weirdo. This is really fun. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
Fun. All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
no problem. We'll
Later.
talk to you soon. Robin Nash, everybody. All right, we got about 15 seconds. We're going to wrap things up here
She's
with the beef tip. I
fantastic.
told you. Yeah.
Ah.
That's funny about Jared Leto, though.
Oh my God, that's so good. Ooh,
All right,
which
oh,
bands am I
stalker.
going to creep out? Yay.
all of them.
Yes.
All right, here we go. All right, Rock 102.1 KFMA. We just wrapped things up with Robin Nash, who's going to be taking over the midday slot for Riley starting on Tuesday, right after our Revenge of the 90s weekend, which is super fitting because Robin broke into alternative radio at the tail end of the 90s, has a lot of stories about these great rock stars, including, she shared with us a great interaction she had with Dave Grohl and how she creeped out Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars. Those kind of stories you could expect to hear middays. Plus, trust me, Riley's fantastic on the radio. We know this, and she's very happy in her position. But Robin's very good at what she does. And take it from me, a radio file, an audio file, somebody who listens to the intricacies, even though I know I'm a babbling idiot. But I listen for things that I feel like are good broadcasting techniques and presentation. And I think that she's one of the best in what she does. So her being a part of the station is a good look for the station. It's going to be great. So we look forward to seeing Robin around the studio and whatnot. Todd, would you agree with all this?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Hot take. Yeah, it's
been
fantastic.
Here the whole time. Sure. Yeah.
Sorry, I had you backstage because I didn't want you to creep her out too much. Is that okay?
Why was I'm all of a suddenly the creeper? I am the her and the Jared Leto. I'm not I'm married. I'm not gonna creep on anybody.
No, I know. Maybe she gets
You're the
uncomfortable with all
creeper. That's what you
weed.
do. That's your job. That's your role.
I'm in a relationship too. You know what I mean? So
I'm in a bunch of relationships and I'll creep. I don't care.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm worried about Weirdo.
Yeah, it did sound like Weirdo was creeping on Robin a little bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Instant crush. Love her.
Yeah. So that's cool. Here, I'm going to leave you with this before we wrap things up. Have you ever seen a professional wrestler who's also a pizza tosser? Because that's what's going viral right now. So you'll see on the podcast broadcast stream. This is a wrestler. All right.
Just really fitting into that Italian stereotype. All right.
Which leads me to this beef tip, okay? You're going to see all different types of characters in the world of professional wrestling. You'll even see a guy with the mustache being a stereotypical Italian tossing some pizza around. But this is just a reminder to you that wrestling is real. All right, don't believe otherwise. It's 100% real. They battle to the death. You got to respect your wrestlers, especially your local indie wrestlers, because they're the ones putting on pizza tossing exhibitions like this guy. Look at that, legitimately
that
badass.
takes talent. That does.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
So wrestling is real. It's making a comeback, just like Nickelback. That's your beef tip. Enjoy the rest of your day. Mucho is up next, and then Robin Nash will be filling in for him permanently starting on Tuesday. Tomorrow morning, we'll continue to give away tickets for a day to remember and shine down, and we'll have in-studio guests as well. So enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
Later days.
When you wish upon a
You probably didn't have like a beef tip, and I'm just like, hey, let's look at this.
Beef tip is wrestling. It's real, and you love it. Show some respect.
Look at that. That's amazing.
I will knock out all your teeth.
There it is.
Gotta have your gimmick.